So the other day I was playing around with ChatGPT, just doing something fun, and I realized I have been using it wrong for a period of time now, or not the best way. And I want to show you exactly kind of what you can do, what I figured out. And this is a pretty significant thing that is being taught a lot with prompt engineering and prompting that will have some differences in the output no matter how you do it. And I want to show you a technique that I actually put together that actually works very, very well to make sure that this never happens again. So if you come with me on this little journey real quick, I'll show you exactly what we're going to do and how you can fix it. So quick little story. I was playing around with ChatGPT the other day, and what I wanted to do was I just wanted to have it write some blues lyrics. So I had written down a couple different things, a couple metaphors and things like that of what I wanted to do, some very basic lyrics. And I wanted it to help me write those lyrics a little bit better because I was trying to send something over to a friend of mine. So what I did was I went into ChatGPT and I said, you are a world famous blues musician, songwriter, and lyricist. And I want you to analyze these lyrics and tell me how they could be better. It was something along those lines. And what I also mentioned in that was I want you to think of how it was that you wrote your songs. I want you to think of like what you were thinking in your mind and all that kind of stuff, like it was a songwriter. And when it came back to me, when the response came back to me, it actually said that it is not able to think because it's not a person. So I changed that prompt to, I want you to act like a professional blues musician. And when it came back to me that time, it came back to me exactly with what I wanted. And I realized at that point that just the difference of saying you are compared to I want you to act like will give you two different responses. And the interesting thing is that I actually asked ChatGPT about this, and I've asked other AIs, Claude, Gemini, Grok, and they all pretty much say the same exact thing, which I'll actually show you here. So I took this screenshot, and you can see, use act like you are when you want a performance, a persona, or a creative viewpoint. Like act like you're a blues lyricist and write in first person. Use you are when you're giving a firm instruction about the role or standard for the output. Like you are my editor, follow these rules. But this can sometimes trigger more cautious, literal responses if it sounds like a real-world identity claim. What did that actually tell me when I was using ChatGPT, and what does this tell you? Tells me that when we prompt, that sometimes when we get those results that we're kind of like, that wasn't really what I wanted, and you need to iterate, which is obviously perfectly fine. I don't have a problem with that. In fact, I love communicating with AI and getting better outputs. But one thing that I realized is that I have to iterate a lot, right? Even if I give it a really good prompt, and if you're not giving it a really good prompt and you're just starting to use AI and trying to figure this out, well, you're probably not getting responses that you want. And if you continue to iterate and you continue to talk with the AI model, then you are going to eventually get those results that you do want. The thing is that wouldn't it have been nice to be able to get that the first time? So what I realized is that what we should be doing is actually giving the prompt, and then before it gives you the output, ask it to clarify that it understands what it is that you want it to do. So I'm going to show you an example real quick of exactly what I mean, and then we'll go from there. So here you can see I have ChatGPT open, and I just pasted in a quick little prompt that I created that essentially is saying that I want you to be my ADHD therapist, entrepreneur, coach. I gave it a specialty. What I wanted to find out is what can I do first thing each morning to help me progress successfully throughout the day? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to submit this so that it's going to go ahead and think. So it is in regular thinking mode now. It's not in extended thinking. I'm using ChatGPT 5.2. Again, this works with any LLM, right? So what it's going to do is it's going to give me this first output here. Okay, so this is pretty good. This is a pretty extensive result that I got. But the thing is that to me, I'm just going to say it looks a little bit overwhelming. It's a little bit too much. Like I'm trying to figure out how not to procrastinate and things like that. And when I look at this, I'm like, oh my God, this looks terrible. To me, this looks like it's a whole bunch of work. So what I'm going to basically say now is, this looks good, but it's a bit overwhelming to me to see all of this. Can you summarize this into bite-sized steps for me so that it is less overwhelming? Something very simple. And then I'm going to hit enter and let's see what happens. Yep, here's the ultra simple version. You can do every morning, no extras. So let's see what it says. So first, sit up, feet down, one slow breath. Just start, pick one thing. All right, awesome. This is much more like what I was looking for, right? So there we go. So now what we can do is now that it knows that this is what I wanted, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to say, how could we have made this prompt so that the first time I gave you the prompt, I would have gotten this response back right away? Create that prompt for me. So now it knows, okay, basically this is what I want. This is what I'm asking for. It gave me something. It wasn't exactly what I wanted because I wasn't specific about it. But then I went back and I iterated and I said, actually, this is not really what I want. I want it, a little bit shorter. It's a little bit overwhelming to me, blah, blah, blah. So now when I got that result back, it was much more what I wanted. Now, maybe you go through a couple more steps and that's perfectly fine. But once you get it to the point that you want, once you've iterated it enough to get to the point that you want, then go through and say, okay, now create me the prompt that would do exactly what we came up with during this whole conversation. And that's exactly what it did now. So I'm going to actually copy this code, right? I'm going to open up a new chat. I'm going to paste that in. This is the exact prompt that it gave me back. So now it should actually give me a very similar response to what we had before, right there. So formatted a little bit differently, but drink water, stand up, right? Boom. That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted a simple, short answer. Now, obviously, this could be done in a lot of different ways. You can do this for a lot of different things. But the point is, and what I want to actually convey in this video is that a lot of times you might be prompting an AI model and not get the results that you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that same prompt that it gave me. But now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to say, instead of start now, I want you to say, before you actually give me the information, I want to make sure you understand what it is that I want you to provide me with in your response. So now I'm confirming that the response is going to be what I'm looking for. So you want one simple morning routine that works, blah, blah, blah. Okay, only a short checklist with 5 steps max. Each is one line, plain text, under 120 words total. So it knows exactly what I'm looking for. So I said, perfect. Okay, now it knows, then I'm going to go for it. But many times, now this is obviously because we worked on that prompt, so it gave me that perfect prompt that I wanted, right? But many times you might actually give it a prompt and say, okay, hopefully it's going to give me the results that I want. But ask it first. Ask it first if it understands. And if it doesn't understand, then you can actually go back and then change that and iterate that. And the reason why I figured this out is because the time that I said, you are a blues musician as opposed to act like a blues musician, it was completely different results, completely different thing, because it did not give me the first time what I had expected because the AI thought that I wanted something a little bit differently, and that's how it performed. So again, to summarize this whole thing, what I want you to do when you're prompting is before you ask it to actually give you the response, first say, I want to make sure you understand what it is that I want you to provide me with in your response. So then it will come back with this answer and I'll say, okay, great, then proceed. And now it's going to actually give me the answer that I want. So again, very simple. Just put in your prompt, give it the information, whatever you're kind of expecting it to come back with, just confirm first. If it's correct, then tell it to proceed. If it's not, then you can iterate a little bit more, get it to that point, and then from that point, then you can actually go and take care of it. So again, I hope this helps. Hope this is something that you utilize. If you have any other questions or anything like that, please let me know in the comments, and take care, and I'll see you in the next video.